Hello everyone, my name is Robbie Dodenbeer and I'll be talking today on the session destroy function. To start off with, the purpose of the session destroy function is to kill or destroy a session cookie that is created during your session on a website. This will destroy all the data that is on that session cookie, thus allowing a user a clean slate when they return back to your website. It does not unset any of the global variables associated with the session. To use the session variable again, you would need to start the session all over again, which we've learned previously in the session start presentation. And then those that may be familiar with Java, we use a very similar function in the HQL session, which is calling a database, just like what we're doing in PHP. A quick example just from a textbook. You can see here the session start at the top. We call our session array and we put in some session variables in that, and then we call our session destroy. So that's quick and dirty, but I'd like to show you inside my code what's going on here. So I have up here my accounts controller. And as part of this, we are starting the session. We are then creating, we're gathering the user input, and I'm actually storing that in the database. But when we go to login, that's really where I want to show. So under the login, after we do all of our checks, we actually call our function to get client. And in that, everything is returned back into an array. And for starters, we're doing a session logged in equals true. That way we can track within our website if the user is logged in or not. And then the second one is actually storing that client data inside of a session cookie. And in my case here, I'm actually going to use the logout, which is going to empty my array and then actually destroy it. Both of those do the same thing, but just for safekeeping, emptying out the array and then destroying the session. So I'm going to jump back over into my example here. So I'm not logged in. This is just because I've created a user and stored that as a variable. So if I click on my account, I'm going to click on I'm going to log in. Oh, I gotta type in the right password. Okay, I log in. Okay, here's my information. This is what's actually getting pulled from the database and stored in a session cookie. My first name, my last name, my email. If you remember looking at our code, and I'll actually show you the code right here, I'm pulling in my session client data, client first name and last name in that case. First name, last name, email. That's what's being stored right here. But you would never know that if I looked at the page source. You can see it's just because it's PHP, it's just dumping that in there. So I'm going to go ahead and log out. Again, this is a persistent cookie, so it's staying in there no matter who's logged in. But if I log in again, and let's do our admin user, and I apologize, I have to get the password every time. You'd think I'd have it memorized by now. I'm going to go ahead and log in. And you can see my information changed here. So again, this is because of the call to the database. It's storing that information that was pulled from our query into a session cookie, and because I've logged out, I've killed that session, emptied out my array. It's allowing a different user to log in each time. So that's the presentation. I've been trying to find in the browser where I could actually show the session cookie. The best I could do is showing a persistent cookie, but that doesn't help us in this lesson. So feel free to leave any feedback you may have, and I appreciate your time.